Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and finally, BioWare has some good news. After two catastrophic launches where it seemed like the world was ending anytime they made a move, we finally have a launch with some good news after the fact. So just a short couple of months ago, we got Mass Effect Legendary Edition, a remaster of the trilogy of the Mass Effect games. We covered it very closely, and we only had one metric to go off of that showed how successful this game was. BioWare had set their own personal Steam record for a game launch with nearly 60,000 concurrent players thanks to SteamDB. So we knew, hey, people were excited, of course, and a lot of people were buying it, but just how many and was it meeting expectations going beyond that? In today's video, we go into the phenomenal success that is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but more importantly, the implications for what this means for the future of BioWare, a company that a lot of us care deeply about. So if you're new here and you're into BioWare, we talk KOTOR, we talk Star Wars: The Old Republic, we talk Dragon Age, and of course, we talk Mass Effect. So be sure to sub up if you're new, and if you don't,
I should go.
All right, so the story begins with a EA conference call reporting their earnings for the latest quarter, and here's a quote from IGN of what EA CEO Andrew Wilson had to say about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Quote, "The launch of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the remaster of the first three Mass Effect games, reignited the passion of fans around the world, driving sales performance well above our expectations," end quote. This is obviously good news because what happened last time EA put their foot in their mouth when it came to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? That's right, it was so successful that they reversed course over on Dragon Age 4 and decided to make that fully single player. Now you've got another heavy hitter in a single player trilogy, because you remember they took the multiplayer out of Mass Effect 3, much to my dismay, but here we have another massive single-player success beneath the EA banner, and now it's leading to Dead Space being remade, and who knows what else happens. But more than anything, I believe the hope of many fans, myself included, is that these wins across the board from single-player games underneath EA, but now one with BioWare, showcase that the time is now to go back to how BioWare used to function. Take the leash off of them, let them function as a purely single-player studio, and I believe this remaster is key to giving them breathing room for both Dragon Age 4 and Mass Effect 4, but most importantly, giving fans what they want for both those games. I have no doubt those games will arrive, but making sure they're the RPGs that are replayable, that we love, having that confidence to achieve that, and having the company who's providing the funds believing in you to be able to achieve that. That's the also more important part, because we've seen between Andromeda and Anthem, whether people want to scapegoat EA or not, BioWare mismanaged both those projects horribly, being forced to make them all in like an 18-month window, which is not good. On the Andromeda front, it's a little impressive, but when it comes to Anthem, it's like, no, this just wasn't going to happen twice and actually work out. So of course we'll talk about Mass Effect, but I was reading around the internet and I saw an article from Jeff Grubb talking about something that a lot of viewers had been asking me, and of course something I talk about individually in a video upon the announcement of a Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and that's a Dragon Age Legendary Edition, if you will. So Jeff Grubb had a write-up saying, does this mean that Mass Effect Legendary Edition's success means a Dragon Age Legendary Edition is coming? Possibly, but that's a slightly different set of circumstances. Mass Effect is a continuous connected trilogy. The Dragon Age games are much more loosely connected, and therefore EA might not feel the need to bring back those games to prepare fans for Dragon Age 4. In a follow-up tweet, when asked, are they thinking about Dragon Age Legendary Edition, Jeff said, I think they're probably not thinking about it right now, so just know this may be speculation on his behalf, but I thought that given all the coverage he gave Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which was pretty much fuel for this channel, I wanted to make sure we acknowledge the nod from Jeff that, hey, there is a possibility there is maybe a Dragon Age Legendary Edition down the line. In my opinion, I think a Dragon Age Legendary Edition is more necessary for preparation of the next game than Mass Effect will be, right? Because Mass Effect, we're sort of in the dark on where we're going to land. We can tell that Liara is much older, which means it very well may have been hundreds of years since what occurred in the original Mass Effect trilogy. We have No idea how Andromeda will play a factor into this, because at the beginning of that very trailer, we see both the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy. So we're looking at it going, okay, they're going to mix these two things. Is it going to be more of a reboot, very deep into the timeline? Whereas with Dragon Age 4, with all the trailers we've seen, I don't want to spoil anything, but we're seeing Solus everywhere and returning characters and new characters. There is clear continuity there of characters built up throughout the entire trilogy. So I feel like for preparation's sake, Dragon Age Legendary Edition actually makes more sense than Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Just Mass Effect is, I agree, a little bit more connected, where you could take a look at that and say, yeah, this is a story that has a beginning, middle, and end, very well thought out, whereas Dragon Age has the phenomenal start that is Origins. Then you have 2, which is supposed to be like a spin-off game called Dragon Age Exodus, but then it became Dragon Age 2, and it was mismanaged. Seems to be a theme in this story, and it was made very quickly. And then you had Dragon Age Inquisition, which was like a step away from the identity purely of Dragon Age, while also really building on the lore of Dragon Age more and more. And so ultimately, I feel Dragon Age Legendary Edition just makes the most sense. But back to the main topic here, this success to me spells out that EA can trust BioWare a little bit more. Not only that, but if they look at it and go, well, it's a remaster package, this really isn't a fully produced brand new game on the level of a Dragon Age 4 or Mass Effect 4, at the very minimum, they can look at this and go, okay, we see what people like, because the numbers have now said people are willing to buy good RPGs from BioWare. Good RPGs under BioWare will sell. Crazy concept, I know. It's something that worked like a decade ago and was willing to work for yet another decade, and they sort of sidestepped that and pushed them into a live service avenue and tried to incorporate multiplayer into everything. And you had an instance like Mass Effect 3 where I genuinely think it worked, but then you had instances like Inquisition, and of course we all know about Anthem, and Andromeda had solid multiplayer, but it was just way too hit or miss, where BioWare was losing their identity. And I feel like with this, it grounds them, it buys them time to allow them to really take that moment up until about 2023, like we had heard the reports for Dragon Age 4, to get it right, to make sure it's a much more concise, tighter RPG that's replayable. That's the BioWare people have been looking for ages. And I've said for a while that if they do land Legendary Edition, that there was always the potential that there was trust built there, that they finally had a success, and that they were let off their leash a little bit more. And so I think all this does is spell very good news for a company that a lot of us have been seeking a major bounce back from for years. And so while we have to wait patiently for Dragon Age 4, at least right now we have some good news, and hopefully later this year we finally hear about the reported Mass Effect 3 multiplayer returning through the Legendary Edition. I've said it before, I've heard from multiple accounts and sources, this is coming. I just don't know when. I would assume it would have to be this year, but I could also be assuming entirely wrong. We'll see in due time with that, but whenever it comes, your boy's throwing a party, and that's the only BioWare multiplayer that I will ever truly support. And perhaps EA feels the same way with the removal of the multiplayer mechanics from Dragon Age 4 and making that a fully single-player game. Prior to any numbers coming out for Mass Effect Legendary Edition, perhaps they had detected that there had been an overexertion of control on the type of product that BioWare makes best, and that if they let them off the leash and just did their own thing, perhaps we would seek a best possible outcome. So that's what's interesting, is the timeline of events here is like EA was aware, then they had Mass Effect, which sort of solidifies their decision making, which I think emboldens what's going to happen in the future. But anyway, just a short topic here that I really wanted to expand upon a little bit more as someone who is very passionate about BioWare. And I'm not someone who likes to sit here and go rah-rah over monetary success of companies, because at the end of the day, I'm a consumer first and I care about the product being delivered. So I'm not sitting there like, oh yeah, Xbox outsold PlayStation in June, let's go. Or yeah, PlayStation 5, 10 million units sold, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm not like that. So just know this comes from a standpoint of someone hoping BioWare can get back on track, and not someone who's sitting here going, yes, money for my favorite company, let's go. They certainly have enough of it, right? We buy the merch, we buy all the expanded material, come on. So anyway, I just want to go ahead and post this video talking a little bit about BioWare, their current status, and of course, get your thoughts on all of it all. Where do you sit with BioWare and how they've performed with this recent game? And do you see them trending in the same direction that I personally think they will? Of course, there's a difference between what we want and what will realistically happen. So are you more grounded in reality than I? let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And as always, a big thank you to all the patrons and members supporting the content here. We just dropped the Life and Death of Dead Space, which is linked in the description down below. Please do check it out. It is our biggest patron project yet. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.